Coming up on this episode of Righteous Vinyl, my most anticipated album of 2022, and how well did it fare? Stay tuned. Hi, this is Scott. Welcome to another edition of Righteous Vinyl. Welcome back. And haven't done one of these shows in a while, but I thought I got some time on my hands, so I thought I'd do another one. One of my most anticipated albums so far of 2022 has been today's Righteous Vinyl feature, and it is from Porcupine Tree with the album Closure and Continuation. Tracks included on the album are Harridan, Of the New Day, Herd Culling, and Rat's Return. This is the 11th studio album by Porcupine Tree, and there was a little bit of public uncertainty whether or not the band was ever going to get back together after lead man Steve Wilson's focus on his solo career starting back in 2010, but it turns out that this album was being recorded in secret throughout the 2010s for almost over a decade. Now, the album was produced and created completely in secrecy, spanning the whole decade, and the writing started as early as 2011. And all the original members of the band returned to the fold. Steven Wilson, Gavin Harrison, and Richard Barberi, if I'm pronouncing that right. The only member of the band not to come back to Porcupine Tree was Colin Edwin, Porcupine Tree's bassist, and it was Steven Wilson who took over for the bass lines for the album. Now, this album is a little bit different from the other Porcupine Tree releases. This is not a concept album without any of those overreaching themes that they've given us over the years. The title of the album refers to the band's reunion and the uncertainty of whether or not the band is going to continue on after this album. So it's either closure or continuation. Now, release of the singles came out prior to the album's release in June of 2022. Harridan came out on November 1st of 2021. Of the New Day, solely written by Steven Wilson, came out in March 2022, and Herd Culling and Rat's Return were released in May and in June of 2022, prior to the June 24th release of Closure and Continuation. Now, having listened to a lot of Steven Wilson's solo albums throughout the 2010s, I was very excited that Porcupine Tree was going to get back together. Kind of like, if Peter Gabriel ever got back together at Genesis, which ain't going to happen now. But anyway, that's a totally different story. But, kind of along the same idea. The lead man, creates a band, which was Porcupine Tree, in which, they got together back in 1987. And then, after 10 years, 14 years of playing together, the lead man says, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to go do my own thing. One of my favorite albums of 2021 is The Future Bites by Steven Wilson. And that was a whole conceptual album on, the narcissistic society that we happen to live in. So there was a lot of, the theme is just right in your face with that album. And I thought Porcupine Tree was going to do something similar to that. So I was very much looking forward to a new Porcupine Tree album. When Porcupine Tree came out, I thought, oh, great, this is going to be awesome. But I hate to give a bad review, and I'm not going to give a bad review. I found this album, Closure and Continuation, a little bit lacking. And I was expecting something more ethereal, something more melodic, something a little bit deeper. To me, the album and the songs are a little bit stripped down. And when I first listened to the album and it got done, I was like, that's it? Okay. So I can't say that this is going to be one of my favorite Porcupine Tree albums. I'm glad that they put something out, and I had to listen to it a couple times through, and maybe it's going to be an album that I need to mature into a little bit and give it a chance. It's still something I'll go back and listen to, but some of the reviews. The magazine Metal Injection praised the album for being an outstanding and endearing comeback while it doesn't bring anything new to the table. According to the magazine, AllMusic concluded that the album was a welcome and new entry in the Porcupine Tree's catalog that shows that the band had plenty left to say. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily go that far. Like there's no, I don't think there's any real message in this album. Say something compared to Steven Wilson's solo albums or some of the earlier Porcupine Trees, but that's what they said. Stated from the magazine, the record collector noted that while the album perhaps misses the conceptual cogency of earlier Tree peaks, ultimately it weds a reinvigorated affirmation of band identity to expansive energies, all to confident effect. Maybe. I'm not sure if I totally agree with that, but let's take a look at the charts and see how it did. Now, the album fared very well in the UK. It would come in at number 2 on the UK albums charts, and it would come in number 1 on the rock and metal albums. That's all in the UK. Here in the US, didn't fare very well. Number 90 in the albums charts for the top 200 albums from this publication date. Now, real quickly, I'm going to give you my top 5 Porcupine Tree albums. And you can either agree or disagree with me on this, but this is these are albums that I would pull out if you're new to Porcupine Tree, if you're like alternative rock and you're listening, you haven't heard of these guys, definitely check them out. So anyway, coming in at number 5 is going to be Stupid Dreams from 1999. Coming in at number 4, The Sky Moves Sideways from 1995. Fear of a Blank Planet comes in at number 3 from 2007. In Absentia comes in at number 2 for 2002. That was released. And my number 1 Porcupine Tree album, my all-time favorite Porcupine Tree album, if I was going to recommend an album for you to listen to, Signify from 1996. So that's it. That's today's Righteous Vinyl feature and today's album, the new album from Porcupine Tree, Closure and Continuation. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. I would have you check it out. But I would probably give you one of my top 5s first. So that's it. So that's today's Righteous Vinyl. Thanks for watching, guys, and hope to see you next time around. And always remember, no matter what spins in your life, make sure that it is playing your favorite type of music. Thanks for checking in. I'll probably do more of these going down the road as the end of the year. And after the first of the year, I will do a top 5 for 2022. So stay tuned for that. And we might even have a special guest. Hopefully. So it won't be just me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.